as you can see, a few things are different. I'm not in my regular setup. No, I'm not. Also, hair different. If anyone says I look like Oliver Tree and a 16th century friar had a baby and their haircut was on my head, I know. So if anyone's been on the internet in the past 2 days, because this just happened yesterday morning, and you know anything about YouTube subculture, you know that Watcher, the one and only production company, announced yesterday morning that they are going to be putting their content from now on behind a paywall. And they clarified that all future shows, the first episode is going to be released on YouTube, and then all the other ones behind the paywall. And they said that they are doing this because it's too expensive, and they want to give their viewers their ideas, higher production, when literally no one could give two shits. So quick backstory if you guys don't know who these people are. So Ryan Bergara, Shamade, and Stephen Lim, disputed Stephen Lim, but we're gonna get into that, were the producers of BuzzFeed Unsolved on BuzzFeed, where they would solve or talk about unsolved mysteries, true crime, and then they would ghost hunt. Okay, and I think this show ran for 9 seasons or 10 seasons, but it ended in 2021, and then because they quit, Ryan and Shane quit, and then they took Steven with them, and then they made their own production company called Watcher. They have been making videos on this channel for a long time, and they have a bunch of different shows. I've talked about them, this channel before. Actually, my most viewed video is about BuzzFeed Unsolved Network, and it's flailing because it's nothing without Shane and Ryan. And Stephen Lim was on Worth It, which was another show on BuzzFeed where they just travel the world and eat all these crazy expensive things and test out these expensive hospitals, hotels, and activities and things like that, which a little capitalistic for my taste. I never watched that because I don't give two shits what gold topped caviar tastes like and which one's the best. Okay, not my cup of tea. But since the beginning of Watcher, BuzzFeed Unsolved's whole audience really went over there because we weren't watching for the name BuzzFeed Unsolved or for the production value. We watched for the chemistry between Shane and Ryan, which is really funny, and the chemistry is really good. They're best friends, and they were in their mid-20s when they started this, and they started in 2016 doing these videos, and obviously it went for a long time. And towards the end of their BuzzFeed career, you could tell they were really losing passion for it, and they were just trying really hard to recreate the style and feel of what it was in the early days, but obviously it wasn't because BuzzFeed's a shit corporation to work for. So then they made their own company, and they have essentially the same kind of shows, they just have their own name for them. And for years, all their videos have been pulling on this Watcher page, have been pulling easily at least 500,000 views on each video. Most of them get over 1 million views every single time without fail. There's almost 3 million subscribers on this channel. They were teasing this announcement all week, big announcement, huge thing, and then they pulled this out of their ass, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Because this makes no their whole thing was they're not a corporation, they're just a couple friends that left a big corporation so they could do what they wanted and they cared about the viewers. But I guess not, because a direct quote from the video announcing this said that they made the monthly subscription $5.99 so that everyone can afford it. Huh? What are you talking about? Everyone can fucking afford it. Anyways, people are talking about this all over the internet. The moment that video came out, people were talking about it on TikTok. I don't have Instagram, but in the comments of the YouTube video was going crazy. The like to dislike ratio is 100,000 to 30,000. 30,000 likes, 100,000 dislikes. I guess I didn't explain what they're doing. What they're doing is they made their own website, a la Pibbles and Parolees, but I'm gonna get there. where you have to pay, it's like a TV network essentially, and you have to pay a monthly subscription to watch their shows and like get access to it. They were saying that, yeah, it's just not making enough money to make the high quality shows, and it being YouTube, and like they don't feel comfortable having ad runs, and they know that, you know, it's a lot of ads, and that it's like interrupted, and it's not super high quality and all this shit. And everyone was like, have you lost sense of touch reality? Like, what are you talking about? Because most of the people that watch them are like in their early mid 20s, people that were in like middle school and high school when they started making Unsolved, myself included, and would watch every single Friday for a new one to come out. And then they would, like, me and my friends would we'd break apart the newest episodes of BuzzFeed Unsolved to like figure out what happened. And that's the audience that it is. Like, no fucking Kardashians are watching it, okay? No one, like, their merch was too expensive for most of their audience to buy. Like $60 for a sweatshirt and like $30 for a t-shirt. Like, it's kind of excessive, and most people couldn't even buy that. Even their Patreon was like up there, and they were pulling like, I think it was like 150,000 on Patreon a month. That's I'm allegedly, I read that on TikTok. That's probably not true. That might not be true, but I read that they were pulling on Patreon alone, and not to mention ad revenue on all their platforms. They had ads on TikTok, they had ads on Instagram, they had ads on their YouTube, obviously. And the amount of ad revenue alone from like ads on the videos and then their own paid sponsorship, they're making good money. And a lot of people are pointing out now like they've become totally different people, and I wanted to talk about that because I think that we conglomerate as a society, think of people we don't know as idols and such. A lot of people were pointing out the kind of excess that their lifestyles have taken on since they started their own production company. Like Stephen Lim drives a Tesla, and he literally takes world trips. He makes videos about them and like goes on like expensive flights, eats expensive food, goes to expensive hotels, drives a fucking Tesla. There's videos of them dropping MacBooks like downstairs. Like, the amount that they are paying themselves seems to be, like, people on the internet are speculating this, but it seems to be they are paying themselves considerably more than what they used to, and also than they should. Who on their PR team, who on their marketing, who was like, yeah, let's do this? Because an example of a program that did this was Pitbulls and Parolees, which was a show on Animal Planet. Was basically this family in New Orleans whose employees were primarily people on parole, and they rescued primarily pit bulls. They were an animal rescue. Their funding and their show got cut by Animal Planet, so they made their own streaming service, and it's like $5.99 a month, and they have their same content, but then it's directly benefiting the dog rescue, and you get updates, and they have a Patreon, and like you get to see what you're doing. That's something that I support that they did that, because they have like fucking hundreds of mouths to feed, and they're not driving Teslas. Like, they're actively helping people, they're helping animals, they're helping communities. Like, we support that. So instead of spending $5.99 on Watcher, go spend $5.99 on Pitbulls and Parolees. It has a new name now. I'll put it on the screen, but go support them. Because on Watcher, they said that they're going to start, higher quality. Like, they want it to be like a TV station, like fucking Ghost Adventures, which slaps, but we already have that. The Watcher Boys, which is Stephen Lim, Vergara, and Shane, said that that's what they're going to do, and that they need us to give them money directly, apparently. This is such a bad idea. This is such a bad take. This is such a, like, what the fuck are you doing? Most of your audience can't afford to do that. Like, I really want to know, like, I need to see mapped out what their brain process was. If you ever watch a movie in class, or like are trying to write something, they'll give you like this paper, and it's like rising, climax, falling, and then characters, plot, goal, all that shit. And I need them to I need each one of them, all three of them, to fill out one of those for me and post them on the internet or send them to me directly, because I need to pick it apart, because what the fuck. Let's do some rough mathematics here. So I don't know this off the top of my head because I didn't write a script for this video. I had just ad-libbing because you might not be able to hear it, but my landlords who live downstairs have been, since the ass crack of dawn this fucking morning. It is 9 p.m. right now. Since the ass crack of dawn, have been doing construction downstairs. And it's crazy loud, and I'm not going to be able to sleep because it woke me up. I was like, what the fuck is that this morning? And then they're still at it, and I don't even know what they're doing. I tried peeking, but I don't know. Anyways, so if what they say is true, let's do some math. So their Patreon, I'll do a quick, if what that kid on TikTok says is true, they're making at least $160,000 off of Patreon alone. This doesn't include ad revenue. This doesn't include sponsorships. This doesn't include merch. This doesn't include anything like that. Okay. And then if they're making at least $2 million a year off Patreon alone, because if that statistic is true, and then they're making a bunch of money in ad revenue, and they're making a bunch of money on sponsorships, then they would be, I'll put it on the screen how much I calculate it to be. They're making roughly, allegedly, my estimate, this much, probably a lot less, probably a lot more. I don't know. Give or take a few $100,000 probably. So they want their audience to follow them to their own streaming service so they can exclusively be making as much money as possible. But they will be losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, because of their actions and because they're being fucking greedy and capitalist. And someone commented this, and this is so true. Someone commented, the old Shane would want you to pirate it. I said, period, because he would. And like so many, that's something that was so good about them in the beginning. They were just like two regular, like middle-class guys working for a big corporation. They were just trying to get through. And they were just regular people. And especially Shane, he was like, steal from corporations, tax the rich. I said, period. But now they are the rich. Now they are in that upper tax bracket. They have become what they ran from. They are becoming, I hate to draw this conclusion, but they are becoming like BuzzFeed. Obviously to a less gargantuan scale. There's 3 of them. BuzzFeed is a mega corporation. But if you want to learn about that, go watch my video about BuzzFeed. The least popular of them is Stephen Lim because he flaunts it. That's what he does on the channel. Like, he goes to expensive dinners and he spends a lot of money, and he is a wealthy person, and he drives a fucking Tesla. Like, seeing that and knowing that that's what the CEO, he is one of the 3 of them, they're the CEOs. I would like to know, let me talk to the CFO. Let me talk to the CFO and see what the fuck's going on in their head. Because seeing that they are spending money so extravagantly, and then having the gall to ask their audience of 3 million people across all their platforms for money. It's like that clip of Parks and Rec where Mona Lisa Saperstein says, money please. That's essentially what they're doing. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you on? Did you snort 3 lines of coke and then smoke a little meth? What's going on? Who put these ideas into your head? And the kind of audacity of them to talk about, how far they've come and all this stuff and their dreams for the future. Like, it's a cash grab. So sorry. Nobody feels bad for you, and no one's going to sympathize and be like, oh my god, yes, I'm so, like, no. YouTube can't even get 95% of motherfuckers to pay for YouTube Premium. Like, what are you talking? You're expecting us to pay $6.99 to watch only one show? The fact that they said that they made it $6 so everyone could afford it. So everyone could afford it? YouTube's free. We're not going to move over. We're not going to be like, yes, take my money. No, bitch, we're going to stay free. we're just gonna keep watching your old videos, okay? But I think the thing that hurts like the watcher and Best Fiance audience as much is that like it's been almost 10 years and we didn't think that was gonna happen to them, and it did. And it just sucks because they don't belong to us. They are their own people, but we have been the ones giving them money with our views and with our links and with our clicking on links and with our buying merch, with literally supporting them, point blank, period. And the fact that they take that and thought that they would be able to get even more money out of us as possible, because I'm assuming they're going to leave the Patreon up too, which if you subscribe to a Patreon, I don't understand Patreon. Like, I don't really know what it is. I don't think I've ever been on that website. But the fact that they have been getting all this money from their fans and they say it's not enough, it's really tone deaf. Especially today, like, we are in a recession and there's a fucking climate crisis, and the wage gap keeps getting bigger, and the wealth gap and the poor keep getting poor, and there's more homeless people than ever in fucking Los Angeles, where they live. Go walk down Skid Row, bitch. The amount of money I don't want to call them motherfuckers, but the amount of money these motherfuckers have been making and they just keep making more, and they just keep spending more money on extravagant shit. Like, I understand I don't have that money. If I had that money, I'd be giving it away, because I don't need that much money. Well, I do need money to survive, but like, I don't need a fucking Tesla. I drive like a 2004 fucking Buick, okay? And it moves. It has 4 wheels, and it gets me from place to place. Like, it's just really tone deaf, and that's like why family channels are on the downslide, and why extravagant videos like that are going downhill. Like, people are sick of it. They're sick of it because there's so many issues in the world, and people don't give, and these people who have the power to do shit about it aren't doing anything. And they're asking for more money. Anyways, this is just a little rant. This video is probably going to end up being like 4 minutes long. I didn't write anything. I didn't even watch the whole video because I was like, okay, off. But anyways, it's just really unfortunate, and I'm probably just going to keep watching old BuzzFeed Unsolved videos. So I actually watched one that I hadn't seen before. I had never seen the Bobby Dunbar one, which came out years ago, but I saw it and I saw it like on my YouTube recommended, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that one. So I watched it and I was like, I don't know, it was kind of nostalgic because I was like, I've never seen this one before, but it's like I'm in 2017 again in 8th grade waiting for Friday to watch another BuzzFeed Unsolved video. Anyways, let me know what you think of this. Sorry this was a little rambling, but it's just me as like a consumer of their content and a fan. I'm like, okay, I'm done. It puts a sour taste in my mouth. And if they walk this back and they're like, no guys, so sorry, like we weren't thinking, they've substantially damaged their audience. A lot of people are going to stop watching them, unsubscribe, unfollow them after this stunt, because they're probably not going to walk back. I don't think they will, but they've damaged their reputation and their view in the public's eyes so much for this, which is unfortunate, but I don't know what they thought was going to happen. Anyways, this really had nothing to do with anything, but I just want to talk about that because I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight anyways because the fucking banging downstairs. But yeah, do whatever you want, but if you're thinking of subscribing to Watcher, like their program, whatever, don't go to Villalobos, go to the Pibbles and Pearlies lady, subscribe to them. Help animals and people that just got out of the prison system. Don't help them. These are 3 guys who live in Los Angeles that are doing very well for themselves and don't need you to give them your money, no matter how much you fucking like them, okay? Okay. Anyways, peace.